International Women's Day. Let me start by saying happy International Women's Day to you. And I'm so excited to be one of the amazing women of this globe to actually be in your space and engage you in this amazing day. I think International Women's Day is really a global celebration where we celebrating the political, the cultural, the economic, the social achievements of all women across the globe. And I think what a better way to do it than to just say thank you for your amazing work, thank you for standing firm, thank you for believing so much in yourselves and other women. And of course, with the theme of this year 2021 being choosing to challenge, choose to challenge, I think it's best if I start by saying this: I am you and you are me. As women, we are one. My name is Ntabi and I am a founder of a design agency called IL Design Creative Approach. And of course, I have built a brand behind my name, Ntabi, which is a Real Talk with Ntabi, which includes a YouTube channel that I've created mainly to empower and transform, me and people like you, all right? And it's all about helping you to find the best version of yourself. And coming to the motion of today, I believe that really my channel was proof enough to say we are actually empowering women. We are actually having it, put together. We are holding it firm to encourage each other as women.
My name is Brenda Kimbi. I am a Cameroonian-based YouTuber and a personal development coach. My platform is all about inspiring people, igniting people, and impacting using the various platforms that I have to give people a sense of living, making them feel better and fulfilling their purpose.
My name is Yemi and I'm a Nigerian from Nigeria, and I create content on YouTube with the aim of inspiring women, African women, to own their lives, live up to their potentials, and to be their best self. I choose to talk about the issues concerning women because I'm a woman and I believe that we have so much potentials that the world is yet to tap into, right? And I also believe that the society we live in, our culture, is really not fair to us women, and so it is important for us to keep discussing, to keep talking about the issues that limit us as women.
Over the years, so many decades have come and gone, and women have been passing on a certain number of traditions, cultures, norms, and values to their children, their grandchildren, and generations come and go. There is a problem of identity. Women in most homes are raised as nurturers, as mothers, as wives, and we don't have a perspective of change makers, solution-oriented mindset, and people who can provide sustainable solutions beyond their homes. Women are raised as just a gender and not raised as humans. And because of that, we have all the crises we have in society today. So the International Women's Day 2021's theme, which is all about choosing to challenge women, not only in their homes, but in the society, in leadership, in the economic sphere, it's an important one because we need to have this conversation. The average African girl's dream is marriage, is looking forward to that day that a savior will come and take them from their parents' homes. Whereas life is bigger than marriage, life is bigger than a ring, life is bigger than bearing children. And this brings me back to the story of the very popular and well-known successful Nigerian actress Adesua. Some few years back, I remember she was dragged all over the internet because she got married and she wasn't raising forth any kids. Most times when she would share her posts, her projects on Instagram, on other social media platforms, you would always have people commenting, when are you giving birth to children and all of that. Trust me, before her giving birth to their child, she has worked on so many very successful projects. She has done a lot more than we can think. But because we've been raised as mothers, we've been raised only as nurturers, the whole birth was on the internet when it was known, or when they decided as a couple to share to the general public that they had a child, then people decided to celebrate her. I celebrated her as well. It was something worth celebrating. But then it makes us ask ourselves the core questions. Are we only gender based? Can we do beyond our gender as the female sex? There is a lot African women can do. But because of this identity that has been passed on to us by our parents, by our grandparents, so many women are missing the point and will miss the point. And the greatest enemy any human can have is the enemy within. So the problem is not even the opposite sex. The problem, it is us. It is that image that we have chosen to hold on to as women that has made us to limit ourselves, make us not to stretch as people, and think that we are wired just to do a particular thing or to be in a particular space. So we are choosing this year to challenge ourselves to go beyond that identity.
So let's talk about women taking leadership roles. I think let me start by saying this, or let's kind of explain the word leadership or how to lead. And I think this is one important aspect before you can even put a person on a word. So leadership, to start with, is the ability to take action, the ability to make a change, the ability to lead something, to make things happen, basically. So when we think of women in leadership, I firstly want to say this: women are capable of taking a lead. Women are capable of leading those big roles. I mean, in our history, it was very difficult for women to actually occupy bigger positions, whether being it a CEO or even a boss of a company. So it looked as if it's something is not right, meaning women were undermined for the longest time. And we are here to change the narrative, and I think we are aware that things have evolved, things have changed, even though we are still fighting for our space, our rights to actually be equalized. I mean, even the salaries are different. Some men get more salaries than women, even though the roles are similar. So we need to constantly fight for that, because I believe that we deserve to be compensated the best way, the same way. And that's something that I feel like needs to be done more, and I'm really stressing that, because it is happening still today. I mean, this has been going on for the longest time, but if it's still going on today, it means that so much needs to be done, right?
I think that one of the reasons why we do not have a lot of women in leadership positions is because, there's this statement that you can't have it all, especially when it comes to women and their ambitions. You hear such statements. Those statements tend to come up a lot, that you cannot have it all. You have to let go of one. You have to make a compromise. You have to choose your priorities. Those statements are quite common with women and leadership. And it kind of reminds me of myself. I remember that growing up, I always felt special. I always felt like I was going to be a leader of some sort, a public figure or a celebrity. I always felt that way. I was going to lead in one form or the other. But over time, I didn't see, as I grew older, I didn't see much of women in leadership position. I didn't hear women saying, I want to become the president. I didn't see any of that. And the few people who were in leadership positions, it appeared to me that they had to let go of something. And so it scares me. Like, I was like, you know what? I also want to have a family someday. I also want to have, it was important for me. And so it just made me to kind of lay low in terms of the ambition and say, you know what, I don't need to aspire for so much. If I just become maybe a minister, that's fine. I don't need to aspire to become the president. You do not aspire to be the very best in your sector just because we have associated those positions for the men. There's this assumption that we do not have enough skill set, the mental skill set, like the mental abilities for a specific gender, you know. There's just this belief that we don't have the adequate skill set for it. Recently, I was in a life hack session with my coaching mastermind community at the Immerse Inner Circle, and you know, one of the sessions we were talking about women and leadership, and they said that women have come to see leadership as something that is for a specific set of people. You know, of course, the books that we read about leadership, they are mostly written by male. You know, the books we see on leadership, the videos you watch about leadership, they are mostly from men. We hardly see women authors, you know, on leadership books. They are mostly men, and especially white men. And so there's just this bias that, you know, we don't have the enough skill sets for leadership positions, which is not true. And, you know, she broke it down to the minimum level that everyone has the skill, the basic skill to be a leader. And so, you know, that mindset, that belief that leadership is a very difficult position, politics is dirty, you know, you have to do a lot of dirty things, you have to do so much for you to be a leader. Those beliefs, those things that have been programmed into our mind does not allow women to aspire for those positions. It doesn't make us to aspire. We're not ready for that toughness. We don't have that. It's easy for us to say, you know what, I don't want to go down that lane, you know, let me just remain, I'm doing fine where I am, you know. Then we tend to get comfortable and we don't aspire for the very best. So I think aside from the societal pressure on women for certain things, there's also this bias that we are not equipped enough, we are not skilled enough for leadership positions, and we also do not want to put in the effort, we don't want to do so much to be in this position. So I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of women do not aspire for leadership positions.
How can we unlearn some of these stereotypes, cultures, perspectives, traditions, norms that has been passed to us generations and generations to come? The only way we can do that is to unlearn these habits. Thank God for technology. Thank God for platforms such as YouTube. We can collaborate one to another and talk about these things that women face, that we are not wired only to give birth to children, but we also have gifts and talents that are entrusted to us by God, that we can use those gifts and talents to change the world, starting from our homes. If you're listening to me right now, just know there is that voice within you, there is that thing that hasn't given you enough sleep, that you can go forward for that thing. Stop looking at the biology clock, as some people call it. Challenge yourself that you want to sit on the table of great men, that you want to be a voice, not only to your home, not only to your continent, but to the globe as a whole. We've held on to these norms, we've held on to these cultures, but we can make a difference, and the difference should start from within. Unlearning, going back to the basics, going back to those gifts and talents, going back to education, and going back to God to seek the solutions that we need to make the world a better place.
So as a South African woman, I'm proudly empowered by the women in my space and how they've been taking up space in the world. I mean, we have our Miss Universe, Zozibini, who was crowned, and I mean, I look at her, and when she said women should take up space, that really said a lot, to say, women, you are capable of taking all the power. You are capable of leading. You are capable of becoming just about anything that you wish to. You have no limits. Nothing stops you from actually accomplishing whatever that you want. You know, when you think of women in leadership roles, I also want to emphasize the fact that as women, we should not let ourselves down by just accepting to be ordinary or be treated ordinary. We are extraordinary and we are capable of more, and we are not going to limit ourselves, be it in the workspace, in a workspace, be it in a relationship, be it in your marriage. You deserve all the respect possible. Things have changed, honey. The tables have turned. Now we are capable of doing so much more. You see a woman leading a, supply chain company or a contractor. You see them in the field mining. I mean, things have changed. So this shows that we are capable of more. We have no limits. If we can do this, like nothing can stop us. So don't limit yourself as a woman. Stand firm and believe in yourself and go for what you believe in. Go for it. Don't let anything stand in your way, because you are capable of doing so much more. All right, so that is my advice to you.
I think one of the ways we can address this issue, this mindset of women and leadership, is to constantly remind ourselves of the importance of having more women in leadership positions. When we have more women in position of power, we can make laws. We can then talk about laws that will favor us. We can, for example, we can make laws that will reduce the situation, the problem of gender-based violence. We can come up with laws that will curb these issues that we constantly experience. That's why I'm very happy with the recent announcement of Professor Okonjo-Iweala. I'm sure I pronounced it well, as the leader of the World Trade Organization. It's a very good news, and it proves to us that you can have it all. You can have everything you want and be in the position of power. That's a very good example. We also have more women, in those positions that can serve as role models to younger women, to encourage them that, what, you can do this, you can be a leader, and you can also have other things that you desire. And also, it is important for women who are in this position to write books, to mentor a lot of younger women, so that they can see that this thing is actually very easy. They can have someone who they can relate to. And that's why I would highly recommend this book for anyone who is genuinely interested in leadership position and you're trying to mentally build that resilience for it. I'd recommend this book called Leaning. It's not from an African author, but it's a very good book, and it talks about women and the will to lead. Yeah, I think it's a very good book that motivates women to want the position of leadership. It has a lot of examples, as to why you should aspire to be a woman in leadership, okay, in whatever sector. All right, so those are the ways I think we can challenge that mindset.